Welcome in, folks. Welcome to F1 Offtopic.
This is Joe.
And this is Jake.
And this week we're going to talk about the Imola GP. If you enjoy us or hate us, please leave a review on Apple Podcast or follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Give us a like on Facebook, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube. And at most of those places, I believe we're F1_Offtopic.
Yep, aside from Facebook, there's no underscore there, you know.
Yeah, I messed that up.
It's okay. It would have been kind of funny to put the underscore on it.
That's what I thought. You know, it's just like, you want brand continuity?
Continuity.
Continuity. Thank you.
It's a big word.
That is a big word. Much more than I can handle.
Yeah, I get it. You know, we're measly not store workers, but warehouse workers or something like that.
We make dishwashers.
Yeah.
Or washing machines.
Washing machines and dishwashers.
Yes, yeah. It's a tough life.
It's the same thing.
Pretty much. Well, it depends.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Do you think that you could put your clothes in a dishwasher and they would get clean?
Well, people put their hats in a dishwasher.
They do?
Yeah, you can buy those little hat washers.
But I thought those went into the dishwasher or into the washing machine.
What, you mean like the dishwasher?
No. Like you're talking about the little plastic hat caps things, right?
Yeah, they go in the dishwasher, not the washing machine.
Oh my gosh. So growing up, I was washing all of my hats wrong.
I don't think it matters. Isn't it doing the same thing?
I mean, it did do the same thing. Like they always came out good.
Okay.
Or clean.
Well, once you wear a hat that first time, it never gets
that crispness.
It never comes back.
It's so nice.
That's a one-time thing.
That's why I think, Katie gets mad at me for having so many hats. And I think what she doesn't understand is that, once you wear a hat for a while, you wear it out. So you have to buy a new one.
Correct. You always have to be like 2 or 3 months ahead of the game. You got to always constantly be buying another hat.
Yeah, that's a very lucrative market to be in, is the hat game.
You know, if we were good, we'd have hats for sale, and we could have just very naturally fell into that ad placement right there.
It could be an advertisement for ourselves, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, we could have been advertising our own hats just now.
If anybody would like to have a hat, let us know. I know none of you are going to respond to this, but let us know anyways, even though you're not going to.
Speaking of sponsors, I forgot to tell you about this. So Harbor Freight reached out.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't.
Yeah, I figured that.
I know.
Maybe we need to reach out to Harbor Freight.
I was thinking, actually, last time when I posted the second episode, I thought, after I'd already put it on Twitter, all that stuff, I thought I should have tagged or hashtagged, right? Is that what the
added
hashtag, Harbor Freight?
So here's the whole thing with hashtags.
Added. Okay, yeah.
Hashtags with Twitter used to be a big thing. Like that used to be the thing to do, that you would be like, oh, like hashtag F1, hashtag, Imola Grand Prix, all that. But any more hashtags have kind of gone away, except for those circumstances, like the hashtag F1. Like if you want to get not featured, or like if you want to be able to find something, the hashtag definitely helps. But if you just go to like search something, like if I just want to look up F1, it's going to come up whether the F1 is in the hashtag or if it's just in the sentence. Right.
So the hashtag's just kind of like old school?
Yeah, it kind of condenses it.
Gotcha.
Like, this is all of this under this hashtag. But when you go to search something, are you searching hashtag and then the word afterwards?
Well, I would have, because I started using Twitter in like 2006. So that's how I know how to use it.
And you've been off of it since like 2007?
No, like 2013.
Oh, you got off in 2013?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay. So you are a Twitter OG. 16 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right. 16 years ago, I'd been 14.
Twitter was around
I don't
know.
06, 08, somewhere? I bet you 06.
Okay, I'll look it up. Because I started using Twitter like pretty shortly after it was founded or created, and it was all because my sister had one and she thought that I should make one. So I did, and didn't ever use it for the longest time, because like pretty much all social media, you get on it, you're like, this thing is so stupid, I don't understand what's going on, and then like 6 months to a year later, you're like, oh, I see what's happening. This is the best
thing since sliced bread.
It's like Reddit.
Yeah, actually Reddit's a good one. Yeah, Reddit I used to think was just like, at first I'm like, oh, I don't get this, I don't understand it.
Right.
Now it's the bee's knees, at least for me.
Yeah, no, I don't know, I think Reddit is absolutely my favorite social media, if it can even be called a social media platform.
It's a social media news aggregate. right?
Okay, so I found when Twitter was founded. Take a guess.
Okay. I said '06 earlier, so I'm gonna guess it was July of '08.
No,
What?
it was March 21st of 2006.
Damn.
So I don't
Am I
think,
baller?
I don't know. Well, yeah, but I don't think that you were on Twitter in '06.
Probably no. I was probably on Twitter '09.
Okay. So you were active for about 4 years. Yeah, that was a hot period for the hashtags. Hashtags really continued to be the hot thing up until like 2014, probably.
Oh wow, I love how you're like breaking this down for me.
Well, I'm just saying.
2014, huh?
If we're getting dates in there, we might as well get all of the dates.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough. That's
Yeah.
fair enough. So, sprint race weekend.
Absolutely beautiful.
Was it beautiful? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. The sprint race did make things, I guess, in a way, less exciting. At the same time, it made it really exciting because we got to see that battle between Verstappen and Leclerc on the sprint race, and it was like, oh well, this could have just been the race. We could have just translated this over, and who knows how it would have worked out. And I remember you saying, I don't know, I don't feel like it's going to mix it up. You know, all those fast cars are towards the front of the pack, and like everybody else is kind of left in the dust, and they're fighting for the middle ground or last spots. But I don't know, the race ended up turning out to be pretty good.
Well, not if you were on Twitter.
Yeah.
Everyone else hated it, apparently. I don't know. I just, when it comes to sprint races, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't. There's some good passing. I do like how there was different strategy because it's basically flat out balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm. Don't need to make a pit stop.
Don't need to make a pit stop. So you have to make the decision on which tire you're going to be on. And like if this was the race, Leclerc would have pitted, at lap 18, 17 when his tires were falling off and probably would have kept the lead. But in the sprint race, those extra 3 or 4 laps made the difference for Verstappen.
Yeah, because Verstappen took the lead on lap 18?
Yeah, all down to tire wear, which makes it different than the race. So, you know what? I saw someone make a good point, was if you just had the sprint race and the actual race and you just kept the starting order the same for both races, then that gets rid of that problem. So like Sainz and Perez starting down the grid, they would have still had to start down the grid on Sunday as well. So, if you just get rid of the whole, like the sprint race sets the grid for Sunday, I think that might be a good compromise.
So then what would the difference be between the qualifying is what sets the grid for the sprint race?
Yes.
So you're basically saying just get rid of the sprint race then? Or they would just
no,
start...
you still have the sprint race, and it'd still be 8 points for the win, 7 points for second, or whatever they choose.
But it wouldn't determine starting order on Sunday.
Yeah, so it does two things. It gives... it still punishes the people who didn't have a good qualifying lap, but also incentivizes them to push harder. Because, say you're like... I'm going to butcher his name, and I don't want to butcher the Chinese guy's name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zhou Guanyu.
Wow. Can you say that again for me?
Zhou Guanyu.
Okay, so...
Because people were mad about...
Yeah, that's why I don't say it wrong.
I couldn't remember who it was that said it wrong. It was one of the announcers,
Yeah.
and they called him
he
Zhu.
he butchered it bad.
If you are on a not even national, a world televised stage, you should be able to pronounce the guy's name. I mean, they say his full name every single time. They're
Right.
not just like, oh, Joe's racing or Guan Yu is, in 18th right now. No, it's always Zhou Guanyu.
Yeah, I can't say his last name.
Zhou Guanyu. Like Guan Yu.
Well, at least be in the ballpark.
Yeah, somewhere close.
Yeah, but
Zhu?
Zhu? I mean, seriously, you think the guy's name is Zhu?
I mean, I can't exactly blame him.
No.
Because ZHOU is not
Okay.
the easiest thing to
No,
pronounce.
but I mean, if you're looking at it, it's like, okay, like Zoe, maybe?
Yeah, so, no, I didn't think it was Zoo.
Yeah, Zoo. That's just silly. I lost where I was talking. I was talking about the sprint race. Oh, I know. We're talking about Joe there.
Zhou Guanyu.
Joe. Yeah. he wrecked in the sprint race.
Yeah.
So his full race was destroyed, right?
Okay.
Whereas, say like Perez or something, he was moving up for the field, and maybe he kind of settles into fourth or fifth place, because he's like, well, I don't want to jeopardize my position for tomorrow. Well, if you know that your position for tomorrow is already set, well, maybe I will try to go get that extra point. And if I wreck, so what? Not saying they're going to like purposely wreck, but you know what I'm saying.
They're not as afraid to push because they know that their starting place for the
it's
actual
already
races.
set.
Yeah,
it's already set to
stone.
whatever they did yesterday. So I don't know. I don't know. F1 suffers from being overcomplicated, right? Like it's a very complex sport.
Yeah.
Lots of rules, lots of stuff going on. 20-something races to determine who's the best, and every week, every team's bringing different bits and pieces to their cars. The rules are complex. You got to have so many different tires, all this other stuff. And so adding more complexity to the weekend just seems like a bad idea. Like, part of the reason why I don't watch F2 or F3 all the time is, quite honestly, it's confusing. They have a sprint race on Saturday, but it's a reverse grid, and then they have a feature race, but then the top half gets reset. It's very, very confusing.
That sounds like way too much to follow.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly.
You lost me while you were talking about it.
Yeah. And I'm a big F1 guy, and I don't like. I'll turn in and watch it, but I do not follow what's going on because it's just too much.
Well, you say that you're a big F1 guy. That's not F2. So you would say that you're a big Formula guy.
I'm a big
Formula Series.
I'm a big F1 guy.
You're not a big Formula Series guy.
I'm not a big F2 guy.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'll watch it, but I don't like I know the drivers that are good ish.
Who's good?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Called me out on that one, didn't you? Damn it.
See, yet again, you could have told me literally
I could have told you
name.
anything, but I'm an honest man.
Yeah. Who's the American? Is that Fittipaldi that they're wanting? He's not the American, is he?
Does Fittipaldi sound American?
Dude, this is America. It's a melting pot. It could be anything.
Who are they wanting for Andretti Motorsports next year?
Yeah.
Herta?
Does that sound American to you?
That sounds more American than Fittipaldi.
Herta?
Especially, I think it's Herta. Now you're making me second guess.
Herta sounds more American than Fittipaldi.
Well, especially since Fittipaldi should be a household name for F1 fans out there.
I don't know. Herta definitely seems like it's not American either. Or is it like somebody that was born in the UK and then came over to the United States?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
He's a IndyCar guy.
Oh. Yeah, because that's going to translate.
It does. I mean,
how well does it translate?
There's been some in the history. There's been more F1 guys that have failed in F1 and went on to do decently well in IndyCar.
Okay, but this is the opposite.
Well, okay. Let's be honest here. Usually, people end up in IndyCar not because they ran out of talent, but because they ran out of money somewhere. So that doesn't mean there's plenty of IndyCar guys that I think probably could have raced very well in F1, but they just either they didn't know the right people or just came up at the wrong time. Yeah, F1's just brutal in that aspect. Not necessarily the best drivers get to F1.
Well, I can also see why F1 drivers have had good success driving an IndyCar because you're driving in an oval.
They're not all ovals. Actually, they race more road courses than ovals now.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So then why don't people really get into IndyCar?
It's growing.
Is it because it's like a super American thing?
No, it's definitely growing back to what it used to be. So, since you don't know, but in the 90s, there was a split in IndyCar, and they had IndyCar and they had Champ cars, and they had their own schedules, their own championships. They'd race one race a year together. That was the IndyCar, or the Indy 500, and that kind of really split a lot of fans. And it's taken them. They merged back together like, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s, and it's taken them 20 somewhat years to kind of get back to where they were.
Okay.
As far as popularity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to my boy Lando Norris, P3. Let's go.
Yeah.
Lando.
P3. Yeah, it did help that Ferrari tripped on their own shoe ties there.
Yeah. They did. But you know what? Whatever gets Lando onto that podium I'm okay with. And like they were saying, the announcers were saying, his second consecutive podium there at Imola, I believe.
Yeah, you know what always cracks me up is when the announcers pull some obscure stat out of their ass. Like who gives a shit that he had 2 podiums in a row at Imola? Has he had, or not 2 poles, 2 podiums in a row at Imola? Has he had 2 or I keep saying poles, 2 podiums in a row,
like consecutively
races? Like, who cares if that was last year?
Well, okay, I get that.
And like last year's car has nothing to do with this year's. That it's like there's no, like, who cares? That
stat though seems more like relevant than the stat that they gave out of between the McLaren duo of Ricciardo and Norris. They've had 3 consecutive podiums. Ricciardo with Renault, and then Norris the last 2 years.
Yeah,
like, why?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
That point, I'm like, nah, leave that out.
Yeah,
that doesn't make that.
That is just another step in that bullshit. Come on.
It's like when ESPN does the whole like LeBron James is the first person in history to wear blue socks, green shorts, and a yellow top, and score 17 points and 3 rebounds in one game. It's like it's because he's the only other person that's done that. That's why.
and he's played in 50,000 games at this point. Who cares?
Nope. Yeah, those stats don't matter.
Yeah, but someone out there, or they're paying some guy to sit behind the scene to pull up these stats.
Yeah. So if you are that guy, you want that position.
Which, yeah. I want to know how those guys find that information, because anytime I want to try to find some weird, obscure stat that's not even that weird, I have a hard time. Especially
maybe those guys just have really good memories.
Like all, I can't talk. All the F1 guys,
announcers. Yes, commentators, and Christian Horner. So I guess you just got to be smart with a good memory to be into the Formula series, or at least F1.
Yeah, that does help. I mean, those are some very smart guys with probably engineering degrees and.
Yeah, because the engineering degree is what makes all of it. That's what makes you smart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to have a college degree. Duh. Otherwise, you're just worthless.
Do you think all those guys have college degrees?
I would be willing to bet that a large chunk of them do.
They probably have like those honorary degrees.
Toto Wolff definitely does.
Yeah. Oh, Toto, out of anybody, has an honor. He has an honorary doctorates in I don't even know, political science from the University of Cambridge.
Political science.
I don't know. That kind of seems fitting for him, does it not?
Kind of, yeah.
Toto Wolff could be a politician.
A shitty one.
I mean, all of them are.
All politicians are shitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if we're really going to break it down at the end of the day, there's no good side. Nobody's a good politician. When you become a politician, you're just not good.
Yes. Unless Harbor Freight was a politician. Then...
If they were politicians, they would be the worst and best politicians at the same time.
We'd get so much stuff.
They would be mob ran.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine, like everything in your life? Like you got your tax return, but it was like $50 less because it came from Harbor Freight.
Because it's just worth less. Or better yet, it's Harbor Freight actually writing you the check.
They just give you like one of those books of coupons to Harbor
Freight that they send out to everybody in the mail.
Yes. Yeah. Does anyone actually use those?
I've seen people use them, but no, I'm not using them because the stuff there is cheap enough already. And I'm not saying it's because like I'm bougie or anything like that. It's like everything here is cheap, and they have a quote unquote sale or going out of business sale like every 6 months, and then they just get all new crap in.
I've never seen a Harbor Freight go out of business.
Really?
Yeah.
The one in Lincoln for like 2 years straight was having a clearance sale because they were going out of business, and they never went out of business.
Smart move.
That's what I'm saying is they have a going out of business, but it's not a going out of business sale. I think they're just trying to get all of the crap out of their store so they can get all the new crap.
All the new crap, all the cheaper crap that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Harbor Freight though.
Yeah, it's good for some stuff, but not much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine. But Anyways, I guess if we want to talk about the race a little bit more, we can.
The race. That's
Lando!
Nah.
My boy Lando.
So,
P3.
what do you think about Imola? Do you think the racing was okay?
I thought the racing would be a little more interesting if they had turned the DRS on earlier.
You think so, though? Because, I mean, they turned it on. Did it change anything?
I mean, not a whole lot. I guess we can look at how much Hamilton struggled to get past Gasly. 20-some laps in a row. Couldn't get past him even though he had DRS. And I get stuck in the DRS train. But is that just a sign of how bad that Mercedes car was?
It was definitely bouncing quite a bit down the straight. Yeah. I mean, part of it's the track. Imola's notorious for not being able to pass, but I mean, I thought after the sprint race on Saturday that the DRS was going to be overpowered, but it really wasn't on Sunday. But I don't know if that was because cars were having a hard time following, or if it was just wet off of line. So, Mercedes or any of them didn't want to get into the wet, basically.
I guess I get that. I don't know. It's just weird to me, and Katie brought this up. She was like, do you think that this is the time that we're seeing that George Russell is taking over Mercedes and he's just better than Lewis Hamilton?
No.
My response was no. I think it's just a difference of cars, difference of setups, difference of starting positions. Although Lewis hasn't been great in qualifying this year so far, but still, I think it's circumstantial, and especially with Imola, with the rain on and off and all the different red flags that they had in qualifying for the sprint race, it really just mixed things up. Because they were I think George started 12th and Hamilton started 14th, so they were one position different, two positions if you really want to get technical about it. But one car between them, I mean, it's not like, that's not like a crazy ordeal. It wasn't like Russell was up starting in 6th place and Hamilton was back starting in 14th.
Well, and in F1, especially when you're in the midfield, you don't have a car they don't have a car that's clearly the best. They don't have a car that's clearly the third best.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in that midfield, one little thing can completely change your race direction, and not always for the good. So, I mean, really the difference between Hamilton and Russell this year has just been circumstance to me. I mean, Hamilton, he had a good start. He was up, I believe, in 11th or 12th.
Yep. George had a really good start too, though.
George had a really good start, but the difference came in the pits when Ocon got released into Hamilton's path. Hamilton had to let off, and Hamilton had a little bit slower stop, and now he's in 14th and stuck down on a track that's hard to pass in a car that's, sure, maybe it's faster than the AlphaTauri, but it's not so much faster that's going to blow by it. And they didn't have a tire advantage, and they were all racing to the same strategy, which was get to the end of the race.
Right.
So I think the difference between Hamilton and Russell this year is purely just down to, one or two little things that happen during the course of a race weekend that affects you a lot more when you're in a mid-tier car compared to when you're at the front. If they were at the front, the difference would be, Russell's qualified first, Hamilton's qualified second, and then it comes down to race pace on that day. But when, one little mistake is the difference between starting 9th and 12th, well, that makes a big difference in how you go racing, and makes a lot more possibilities happen, random luck happen.
Right. I also want to look at Haas.
Ooh, what about him?
I don't know. I'm happy to see that they had a good weekend. I'm also very happy to see that McLaren with Lando had a good weekend, not so much with Ricciardo.
So is that 3 times you've mentioned Lando now?
I love Lando. That's my boy.
Lando, really?
Yeah.
Well, is it because he looks like you?
I mean, he doesn't look like me.
Well,
though.
but like age-wise.
Like all the drivers are my age, except for like 2 because they're old like you. 3.
Damn, that got turned around on me real quick.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have went
Come
there.
at me, I'll come at you.
Aw. Is that love?
Yeah, it's something like that.
No, so Haas... So, I think I mentioned it in our first episode that what is Mick Schumacher going to do? Is he going to step it up? Is he going to keep underperforming? And so far, he has continued to underperform.
That's a topic that I've seen on Twitter as well, of when are we going to start criticizing Mick like every other driver gets criticized.
So did I say that first? Was I the first person to say that? Was I the first pundit to say that?
I mean, in an indirect way, I guess so.
Yeah, that's right. You heard it here first, boys and girls. Boys and girl.
Or not boys and girls, or theys.
It's
Theys.
Okay.
I don't know.
Get your breaking F1 news here.
Yes.
I
get it. I don't know. I don't know if people aren't criticizing Mick because of who he is, or if it's because this is his first real year of actually racing, not just being stuck at the back of the grid. But he does continue to make mistakes, and I get, like we talked about before, that Kevin Magnussen is a seasoned driver, but he was removed for a year. I don't know how much of a difference that really is going to make, but it is weird to see Mick continually make stupid mistakes to put him in a bad position. And I would say there at the beginning, I don't even think that was his fault there at the beginning of when he went into the gravel.
No.
He just ran out of track.
Well,
everybody's clustered up, ran out of track. He had nowhere to go.
That's another example of the random luck of the midfield. Mick could have been on for a great day and got spun out like that. Mm-hmm. The difference between what I'm saying with Mick and what I'm saying with Hamilton is obviously Lewis Hamilton's Lewis fucking Hamilton.
Yeah.
And Mick Schumacher, he just has a fancy last name. And
he's likable.
He's likable.
He's so easily likable, and it helps that last year his driving partner
was total dog shit.
Was easily, could I say, the most hated F1 driver of all time?
Outside of Latifi?
Yeah, outside of Latifi. No, I hate Mazepin more than I hate Latifi. The thing with Mazepin is, it's not that even that he was a bad driver like Latifi is. It was all the off-the-track stuff that you saw and that you heard about him just being an asshole to people, and about him being a womanizer and all these different things, and Russian. Not that we have anything against Russians, but we do. So it was just kind of like all those things compound. Yeah, America indeed, sir. It just, all those things compound on top of each other, and then you see this guy who is absolutely terrible at racing as well. So it just made Mick that much more likable.
Yeah, and he's just so, I don't know, just so cute.
He is cute.
He's cute. He's a cute guy.
He's a cute guy.
Now, so another thing that drives me crazy is they all talk to Vettel and Schumacher,
mm-hmm.
Oh, Vettel, aren't you this role model, father figure for him?
The young prodigy making a pass on the old time great.
Yeah, it's okay, come on, guys. Another one of those things that just gets so overblown. I mean, Vettel's 34.
Yeah, he's not that old.
He's not that old, and he's still. If he was in a good car right now, he'd be fighting for the championship. He's pretty good.
That's what you're on that. You're on that boat.
I would say that if Hamilton was in a better car, he'd be fighting for the championship too.
Okay, fair.
I mean, what?
If Alonso was in a better car, he'd be fighting for the championship.
Yeah, pretty much most of the drivers on the grid.
If all the drivers on the grid were in better cars, they would be fighting for the championship.
Yeah.
Minus Latifi.
As long as we're on that same page, Latifi, yeah. I mean, yeah, for the most part. I don't know. The difference then would come down to, this year, Carlos Sainz. I think he's capable of fighting for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
As of so far, he hasn't, been able to pull his britches up and do it.
Gravel pits twice.
One of them not his fault.
No,
granted.
This one I don't. Yeah, this one I feel like was just very circumstantial. It was just kind of a luck of the draw thing. I don't blame Ricardo even, because you just saw his car slipped. Yeah, his car slipped. He ran over the curb. Car slipped out. Rear end went out. He just slides right in. Well, and he got bumped from behind too, which doesn't really help. But
and that's something I actually get really sick and tired of, is people always wanting to assign blame to every single little accident that happens.
Right.
You know what? Sometimes shit just happens. These guys are going really fast in some really fast cars, and one little thing happens, and everyone's online being the
race directors,
the race director on this whole thing. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, wet track, two cars going into a corner where only one car should be, shit's going to happen. It happens all the time. But is it Ricciardo's fault? Yeah, technically it's his fault. But it's a racing accident. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Say, I'm glad that they chalked it up to a racing accident in as fast as they did.
Yeah, well, first lap of the race, they usually let that go for the most part. But I was happy to see that too. Because Ricciardo, I mean, his race was already damaged enough. Racing accident. Let keep going.
Yeah, the damage was done. He's running in last, which is where he ended up finishing. And so Latifi did not get last this race.
So actually, you know what? I'm happy you brought up Latifi because I did not hear his name once.
Nope.
So
that's how I want it.
That's how I want it. Well, yes and no, because if you don't hear his voice, that means he's not fucking up.
True.
You know, that's kind of.
But he still came in what was technically last.
I had no idea where he even finished. So he finished 18th then?
He finished 16th because Schumacher and Ricciardo finished 17th and 18th, but they were both involved in an incident that compromised their race.
So out of all the cars that had a problem-free race, he finished last.
Dead last.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Right behind Zhou Guanyu.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was actually surprised that he didn't make more progress than he did.
Zhou Guanyu?
Yeah. I would have thought, I mean, that car was fast, and he showed some really good promise this year so far.
He has showed the promise of this year, and I'm not making this comparison because they're both Asian, but he's showing the promise this year that Yuki Tsunoda was like supposed to be last year. The new guy, very young, but Zhou Guanyu is actually kind of like delivered and performed, whereas Yuki Tsunoda last year at the beginning of the year was just it was a mess. It was not good one bit. And I remember him going into was it Imola last year that he was like, oh, like I know this track. Yeah, because AlphaTauri's not very far away. So he had a bunch of experience on Imola, and he was super high on it, and he ended up crashing out like the first lap of the race.
I believe he crashed multiple times that weekend, too.
Oh, yeah.
He was real good at that last year.
Yes.
He has improved this year. He actually had a good race.
Yeah, finished 7th.
And an impressive 7th. Who did he hold off? Or no, he passed Magnussen pretty late and Vettel late, right?
Yes, it took him and then he got passed by Leclerc.
Yeah,
but it took him a little while to get past Vettel.
Yeah, still though, that was a pretty good run for him. It's good to see that, especially like I was rating Gasly really high last year. Mm-hmm. I've rated Gasly pretty high for a while, but last year he was clearly like he's putting that car in like 4th and 5th position on Saturday.
Yeah,
and then having decent races with it. And Tsunoda was nowhere to be found last year. But this year, it seems like Yuki has stepped up his game and been able to. I don't have the points in front of me, but I believe Yuki's probably ahead of Gasly. At least it feels that way.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I can probably look it up.
We have that power, don't we?
Yes,
we have the power of the internet.
The internets. No, it has been a pretty good year from Tsunoda so far. I've been impressed with him. I'm looking right now. Yep, Yuki is ahead of Pierre by 4 points. He's in 12th. Pierre's in 13th.
Okay, so they're not that far off from each other. But
no, Yuki's got 10. Pierre's got 6.
Okay.
But while I'm looking at this top 10 for points, obviously we've got Leclerc and Verstappen, Perez. Verstappen really helped close that gap this weekend from 40 points down to 27.
So you mean Leclerc really helped to close that gap?
Yeah, Leclerc helped close that gap.
So that was that was the first mistake though.
I know.
Like serious mistake.
He's looked good this year.
So should Ferrari have pitted him? Or should they have just wrote it out?
There at the end?
Yeah.
I agree with the announcers. Why not take another lap to see if that front wing is damaged or not?
Yeah, I guess I'm talking when he pitted for soft tires originally, and then Perez pitted the following lap.
Oh.
Because, I saw some people saying, well, why risk it for 1 point, which was the fastest lap, but they weren't risking it for 1 point. They were hoping that he could either catch and pass Perez, or they could undercut Perez. Right. So I guess I'm fine with it. Now, the decision at the end of the race to pit with the busted tire or busted front wing, yeah, that could have went one more lap.
Just to see, yeah.
Yeah, you never know.
But, it's hindsight is 50-50, right?
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 2020.
Cam Newton said that in an
Cam
interview.
Newton. Did he really?
Yeah, he said hindsight is 50-50.
Yeah. And then after that, did he trash on the woman announcer? Or,
Probably.
Yeah.
Because women are good for one thing only, and it's to serve a man.
Oh, I was going to say making sandwiches.
Is that what he said?
No.
Have you seen his comments lately?
Has he gone off the deep end even more?
Oh, yeah. Basically saying how a woman's the whole thing, her whole purpose in life is to basically serve a man.
Wow.
A very interesting take.
That's a very interesting take.
Not one that I necessarily agree with.
So all those women listeners that we lost last week on the
come on back
on the lesbian dyke comments, we just won them back, didn't we?
I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that way they could relive it.
Well, I wanted to make sure that we could tag lesbians this week and last week.
Okay. We got to incorporate everybody
week
by
week.
Got
to incorporate anybody and everybody every week.
Good. We're all inclusive here.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear that Elon bought Twitter?
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
How much was it? 44 billion?
46? 44?
44 billion,
I mean,
46 billion. There's going to be some alternating figures.
What's 2 billion between friends?
Well, is he friends with the people at Twitter? Because I don't think he is.
I mean, I think they're friends now.
No. Just because you do a business transaction does not make you friends.
I mean, if I was walking away with that kind of money, you're my friend for that day.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
You know what I love?
I would probably say, look at this dumbass. Just got $44 billion out of him. What an idiot.
We haven't made money in years.
Yeah.
Joke's on him. So what I love about large numbers like that is, so it's like $44.1 billion. That 0.1 of a billion, that's $100 million. That's just watered down to a 0.1.
It is so laughable.
When you think about it, you're like, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
That 0.1 would change my life.
How many million is in a billion?
1,000.
1,000?
Yeah. Right?
Is it?
Yeah. I literally had this conversation today. So
1,000 millions is 1 billion.
That's how they used to say it, too.
I always heard a million millions is a billion, and I thought that doesn't sound right at all.
No, because I used to say 1,000 million. That used to be how you said it.
You used to say 1,000 million?
Yeah.
Instead of 1 million?
Instead of 1 billion.
Oh. What?
What? It is. That's technically right?
Okay, but why didn't people just say a billion? Did they not come up with the word billion?
Fuck if I know.
Like trillion? What's after trillion?
I don't know.
Quintillion.
Actually, I did know that.
Yep.
Yeah. Because
what's after quintillion?
I don't know. Okay, quintillion is...
Not quintillion.
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 Not quintillion.
Quintillion.
Yeah. We've got it down. Quintillion.
It just got worse and worse.
Yeah, you got worse.
Yes, I did.
Something signifying 5. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Quadrillion? No.
No.
Quintillion
is 4.
I don't know.
Un, deux, trois.
Cinco trillion?
What is 4? Un, deux, trois. Cinq is 4.
Yeah,
in French.
Are these French words?
Yeah. I took French.
Okay, congratulations.
Je m'appelle Jake.
Oh, yeah.
You know what that means?
Your name's Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't figure that out from the context at all.
That's fair. I don't really remember a lot of French.
That's okay. Speaking of French, Leclerc. Is that French?
No, it's Monegasque.
No, which is in France.
Italy.
What? Monaco?
Monaco is its own state.
Yes, it is, but it's off of France.
So it's not in France.
No, but they're like, basically it's France.
That's like calling Mexico the United States.
No, not at all. Not even close to the same thing.
Is Monaco like a subject of France?
No.
It's its own individual state and country. Is Monaco a country?
Yes.
Then it's its own thing.
It is. It is. Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're absolutely right.
I know.
I'm wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you, finally, for admitting it.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so what is it?
What is what?
So why are you saying that it's French?
Because it basically is.
What do you mean it basically
It's on the
is?
coast of France.
Okay, so
I believe that's where all the rich people from France go.
Canada is on the border of the United States.
Yeah, these are bad examples. Okay, the Vatican.
What about it?
It's in Italy.
So?
They're basically Italian.
Yeah, they are Italian.
Yeah, but Rome's its own or not Rome.
Italian.
But the Vatican is its own country.
Okay, but that's actually inside of it.
Yeah.
Monaco is not inside of France.
Might as well be.
No, it's
one
on the
side's
border.
water, the other side's France.
That is terrible logic. Terrible.
That's
like saying
that's what we're here
Florida's
for.
its own country because it has water on one side and a state on the other.
Well, but it's part of the United States. So, I mean...
So, like, Monaco is a part of itself.
Okay, yeah. Agree to disagree.
Agree that you are wrong.
Fine, sure. I'm
Great.
wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now everybody out there won't think that you're so much of a know-it-all.
I am a know-it-all.
But now it sounds like I'm a know-it-all, so I'm trying to even our odds here.
No. I'm an asshole. It's okay.
No, I don't think so.
Aw. Well, you know why you don't think so?
Why?
Because you're an asshole too? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Never been told that in my life. At least not today, till now.
So what do you think about that lack of DRS? Were you like pulling your hair out like the announcers were? No.
I was fine with it because you still saw people passing each other.
Yeah.
I did think, like, I was wondering, okay, why haven't they switched on the DRS at this point? Because it clearly was dry enough that they should have had it. Because what lap did they even turn it on?
About 15, 20 laps too late.
I was going to say 40-something.
Yeah, definitely. And
it was late.
You could have made the argument that they could have turned it on 20.
Yeah.
So
I will agree with that, absolutely. They messed up with that portion of it, of not turning it on. I think it would have affected the racing? Sure, a little bit. But how much? I don't know. We still saw people getting passing each other. We still saw people stuck in the DRS train, even before DRS was even on.
Yeah, so something that I find interesting is that everybody wants a lot of passing, it seems like. So
it's because it's fun to watch.
Okay. Is it fun to watch a car just zoom by another car with a DRS?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'll be honest, yeah, it is fun.
I like that. You know what? That sounds pretty good on the mic.
Thank you.
See,
I've been working on it.
So, like, Albon, or not Albon, it was Gasly that was holding up. Albon was holding up Gasly. Gasly was holding up Hamilton. So Gasly defending from Hamilton that entire time, that didn't like do anything for you?
Yeah. I mean, it was just fun to see Hamilton stuck, if I'm being honest.
Okay. So.
And I like Gasly, I really do. So I don't know.
Well, see, that's something.
I think that just makes me biased because I like certain people, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see that more.
I guess so. I guess the when you get held up, typically the fans that, depending on which driver you're the fan of, you enjoy it more. But like I think of Imola, for example, back in 05 and 06. In 05, Alonso defended from Schumacher for the entire race, and then in 06 it was the mirror image where Schumacher defended from Alonso the entire race. And those are two races that are, down in the history books as some of the best races ever, but they didn't pass each other at all in those two races. They, the one driver defended from the other. So would that have been an entertaining race to you, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think so.
Like, do you think so?
Yeah, because I've seen that race. I've seen when Alonso defends against Schumacher the whole race, and it's very fun to watch. But it was also because it was like Lewis and Gasly wasn't all that fun to watch because they didn't really show it a whole lot. So when they did, it was like, okay. They're like, oh, is Lewis going to get past him on the straight? Nope. Yet again, he's not close enough. He can't get it done for the 20-something time. So it's not as fun as when you have two guys that are being watched the entire time. And they're like, oh, he might get it here. He might get it here. Nope. Alonso, covers off the right side. He takes the long way around when Schumacher was going to, cuts him off down, going on to the inside. That kind of stuff is fun to watch.
Yeah, I guess a lot of that depends on history, right? Like, like the '05 race, Alonso, this young guy fighting for the championship, ahead of the 7-time world champion,
right?
Breathing down his neck for
Makes for a
50
really good
for 50
storyline.
laps. It wasn't necessarily that the racing was like that great. It was the history around it and that moment and the intensity between the two teams, all that, and the fans, because all the fans of Alonso are like, just hold on, one more lap. Okay,
Right.
all right, one more lap, and all the Ferrari fans are out there just screaming at their TV. It's like, come on, dude, get by him. So all that adds into what makes that a good race. I just feel like with DRS, you lose some of that. You lose some of that, like, Hamilton's on old tires or Alonso's on old tires. Can they hold them up for a couple of extra laps? Can they do it? Can they make it to the end? It feels like a lot of times lately those cars just fly by.
Yeah, absolutely, they do.
I mean, that's definitely been the case in the Hamilton domination years. Is Hamilton just doing a flyby? He had a bad strategy or Mercedes messed up.
Going from P20 to finishing on the podium.
Yeah, and finishes on the podium after
P2.
he blew by like 8 cars, where, that might not have been possible before DRS.
Right.
I mean, definitely at, like Imola, for example, even if Hamilton would have had the best car like he's had for like the last 7 or 8 years, with no DRS, I doubt that he gets in the top 5. It's a tough place to pass.
Right.
He might not even get into the points. But the DRS, I mean, and that's okay. Go from DRS into the new cars. I liked DRS yesterday because it seemed like it gave you a chance to make a pass. It didn't guarantee a pass.
And only having one DRS zone, that was big.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Honestly, I liked that they only had one DRS zone. And
Yeah.
I know it's track specific.
Right.
And they have that one long straight. But still, having like the one place, it forced them to find other places to make passes.
Well,
and you saw that with Russell.
Well, what I thought was interesting about that was, it forced them to look for other places to pass, but not because there was DRS. That was before DRS.
Yeah.
So once there was DRS, it seemed like cars were like, okay, I'm not going to try to pass them here or here. I just want to stay as close as possible until I get to that chance to pass, which is the DRS zone. So, I mean, that pass that Russell made, that was a hell of a pass.
That was nice.
That was a tough pass in a tough place on that track.
That was really
nice.
So,
yeah, as much as I think Hamilton's not done yet by any means, Russell has done very good.
Yeah, he's looked good.
Yeah, that was a good start, good race, and I think he might have even been able to maybe not move up any further, but be closer to Lando Norris if they wouldn't have messed up his pit stop, because I know they messed up the front wing adjustment on that, and so he was lacking downforce in the second half of that race.
Yeah, he was set up for intermediates.
Yeah, he had it tweaked for that, and that's really going to hurt.
I just want to say he may have gotten closer to Lando, but he's not getting past Lando. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are two things that I want to talk about.
Uh-oh.
One is totally speculation.
Okay.
But I saw on Twitter, there's a couple of photos of Mick and Lance Stroll, like giving each other these really nasty looks and not really liking each other. Who is winning in a fight between those two? I know who I'm choosing.
Well, Stroll's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
So, do they even fight up there?
He'd probably apologize.
And I mean, Mick is a German. So
I'm rolling with Mick.
I'm rolling with Mick,
and it's
too.
not close.
Yeah, something about Stroll's face seems punchable.
Oh, See, because there's a difference between Lance Stroll, whose dad is a multi-billionaire,
right,
and bought in so that his son could drive.
And there's a difference between Schumacher's dad, who's a crippled millionaire.
Oh my gosh. You can't even call him crippled because he's a vegetable. Okay, so I think we know who we're picking. We're picking Mick.
Yes, Mick.
Lance looks like he's soft.
Yes, very.
Lance looks like the dude who like had to have his dad's bodyguard beat other kids up on the playground, and Mick looks like he was the one that had to defend his dad's vegetable state.
Oh God, he's just. I mean, what I said was bad. You just went another level.
Am I wrong though?
No.
I'm sorry. We shouldn't joke about that because it's sad. It really is sad what happened.
Yeah. Schumacher was a hero.
But this is comedy. You know, if you can't joke about everything, you can't joke about anything.
Right. I mean, that was long enough ago now. Yeah. Right. I mean, it didn't happen yesterday.
No.
If it happened yesterday, that'd be poor taste.
Oh, absolutely.
But it happened like 10 years ago, so.
They say the rule is 20 years for like major tragic events.
Yeah.
But I think that's like on a global scale.
Yeah, this is a major tragic event, but not 9/11.
Yeah.
So can we make jokes about 9/11? That's 21 years ago.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Well.
And my take on it is, I don't want to give my take on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. But a lot of people would say no. It's people who like dark humor and people who don't like dark humor.
Right.
And it's not meant
we're both
with
dark humor type of people.
It's not meant with ill will or ill intent. That's just the way that some people cope with stuff is by humor.
Yeah, and to like the Schumacher joke, I was a huge fan of Schumacher growing up, and it honestly was pretty upsetting to me when that happened. Don't make a bad joke. I'm being sincere right now. Okay, for all you audio listeners out there, Jacob wants to make a joke. He's got a shit-eating grin on his face.
No, I'm good.
No, are you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, the other question that I had was, what driver are you on the F1 grid? Like, they probably have those, like, you know, online poll things.
Like the Disney princess. Yeah.
But to you, who are you?
To me, who am I?
Yeah.
I'm someone that...
I already know what your answer is going to be, but I want you to answer anyways.
Okay, no.
We're not talking just driving either.
No, we're talking about personality.
As a person.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
no, for sure.
Who you
are
as a person.
No, I am someone that thinks I'm really good.
Latifi? So you're Latifi.
No. You know, I like the Magnussen.
Oh,
yeah.
That is not who I thought you were going to say.
Oh, who do you think I was going to say?
Honestly, I thought you were going to roll with either Alonso or Vettel.
No, I'm not that good.
We're not talking about driving skills here, though.
So we're just talking about personality?
Yeah. Like, who are you based on, like, your personality?
Okay, then Vettel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Then Vettel. But, like, driving skill plus personality?
Latifi.
No, I'd say Magnussen on that.
Okay.
So then who are you? Who do you think you are? Personality.
Who do you think I am?
I think?
I've got two people.
Yeah. Okay, I know who your two people are. Russell and Lando.
Dang, you're good.
Oh, that was so hard. Oh my goodness.
Because Russell's a pretty boy.
Yes.
I'm a pretty boy. But Lando's cool. I'm cool.
You know, I don't think Lando's cool.
No, Lando's definitely. He's quirky. He's funny. Have you ever watched one of his Twitch streams?
No.
They're great. He's a quirky, funny kid.
No. Yeah, something about him I just don't like.
Why do you not like Lando?
You know what? I don't know. I just
Does
don't.
he need to go to Ferrari for you to like him?
I would probably help.
Well, he's not. So.
Well, that's what they all say. They all end up there eventually.
That's okay. I wouldn't care if he drove for Ferrari. I just like Lando. Lando's my guy.
That's good. And then, yeah, I don't like him, and I don't like Russell. It's maybe just because I don't like Brits.
So you're racist?
No, I don't think that's racist.
You're countryist.
Countryist.
So then you shouldn't like any driver.
Well, I don't like Hamilton either. Yeah, I don't like him. He just... I don't know. Something about him I've never liked.
Is it because he doesn't like people pooping in his house or on his plane?
Ooh, that's a very good point. He does not like...
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he doesn't like people pooping in his plane?
Or in his house.
Or in his house.
It came from a girlfriend who said that he yelled at her because she pooped in his house, like in the wrong bathroom or something, and she wasn't supposed to poop.
See, as ridiculous as that story is, I hope it's true.
If I had that much money, I'd yell at people and for pooping in my house too.
Really?
Why not?
So, when you were gone the other week and I came over here to set up the podcast, I definitely pooped in your bathroom.
Did you use my bidet?
You have a bidet?
You know I have a bidet.
No, I did not. This is brand new information to me.
Did you use the one downstairs or the one upstairs?
Well, downstairs. I'm not an animal.
Well, then if you used the one upstairs, you could have tried out the bidet.
Okay, so next time when I'm over at your house by myself, I'll go into your master bedroom, into your master bathroom, and take a dump in your toilet and use your bidet in your master bathroom.
And if you need help, FaceTime me and I can walk you through how to use it.
Okay, I'll do that. And on that note, I think it's time for us to say
au revoir.
You said it right.
I nailed it.
That was pretty good.
French class, thank you. Shout out to Mrs. Mestel. Thanks for French class.
So if you guys enjoyed this, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, or follow us on Spotify, or you could also follow us at F1 _Offtopic on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We actually have a YouTube channel. Nothing really on there except for us talking.
Yeah, podcast.
Podcast, just this stuff.
Just literally this thing.
Anyway, if you guys enjoy it, let us know. And you guys have a good week.
And if you don't enjoy it,
leave us a review too.
Don't let us know.
Well, no, you can let us know. Actually, if you leave us a review, we'll read it on our next podcast.
We will respond to it. And yeah, we'll read it
on
this. On the podcast and talk about it.
Yes, we would love to do that. It doesn't matter how vulgar, how terrible of a review it is, we will read it.
So with that, ciao, arigato.
And adios.
Bye, guys.